Good Sunday. I guess it's late morning. It is October 12th. The 12th. And we are officially starting on corn for 2025. This field that we're doing here right now, between this upper end here, this lower end, you can see here, the building's right there, and there's our little grain setup right there. Flood we had went right down through the middle of this right here and down through there. So there isn't a whole lot of anything. There's some down there kind of by the grain setup. There was it was not so bad there, but they had to dodge logs and rocks and such. But yeah, not a whole lot going on right through here. But up through here, it's pretty doggone good. He's splitting it right now. But this stuff is all going. This stuff's all going in the silo. We already did one load off what we've done here so far, and we're gonna do this one, and that'll be enough to feed the cattle. We're gonna keep back a handful of calves, some replacement heifers, and maybe a couple of steers. We're gonna try what we did here a couple years ago. We had a steer, if you remember, for a couple of years here that we had been grazing with the cows. The intention was, when we left him back, was to take him to the locker plant, but I didn't really need the meat that bad, and the cattle prices were really good, so we sold him. And it was, I think he weighed like 1,800, 1,900 pounds. I mean, he was pretty beefy, so that worked out pretty nice. I mean, that was a nice chunk of change. We didn't have a lot into him because he literally, ate grass with the cows, and in the fall or in the winter months, he just ate the bales of hay with the cows. So it wasn't terrible. So we're gonna try that this year, I think. We're gonna keep back. We only got 3 steers this year because I think we had 12 or 13 calves, and only 3 of them were steers. The rest of them were heifers. So we got a good selection of heifers choose from. We got some that we already know that we're not going to keep back. We got a couple of them that have sprouted horns, and obviously we have pulled Herefords, so we don't want to keep those to keep into our stock because we don't want them all of a sudden mutating into having horns. So but anyway, this corn we tested is this is at 16%. So we're gonna keep on trucking along. I think what we're gonna do once we're done here is we're gonna go up behind the machine shed right here. There's a valley up there, you guys know. Excuse me. That there's 3 fields of corn up there, and 2 of them are fenced off. Of course, all 3 of them are actually. I shouldn't say that. 2 of the fields have 1 fence around them. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can get all of that corn off of those 2 fields, which is, I think, about 6 or 7 acres. Hopefully it all fits in the grain bin. Hopefully it doesn't, but I'm kind of hoping it does. In the grain bin, the gravity box, the grain cart, and if we got to, we can always leave some on the comp, and then turn the cows in there, because the cows are up in this pasture here that those fields are in, and they're starting to get a little antsy, and I want to turn them in down below the house right here into this big pasture, this pasture down here below where this new seating was at, and there's a pasture in front of the buildings. The plan is to put them in there once we start combining up on like the ridge and stuff, so that way we don't have to open and shut gates all the time. But we're not going to combine on the ridge today. I don't want to turn them down there and then have to turn them back out, because there might be a good week of eating down there, maybe a little more. But I'd like to at least maybe get those 2 fields combined, and they can have the cornfield, the stalks off and everything. So we'll see. Like I say, I hope it doesn't fit. I hope we should have room for between the bin and gravity box and all that, grain cart, and even if we leave it in the combine, we should have almost enough room for 2,000 bushel. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that's what we're gonna do. See if we can't get that done. If not, I guess then we'll have to cross the bridge. We'll have to put the cattle down below here because they're starting to get a little antsy, and we don't want to push it on stuff. And next thing you know, they're in cornfields or other pastures that they shouldn't be in. So we did finish the beans yesterday. They come and got the last of the beans. The beans actually were pretty good this year. I was surprised. I thought when we started, sorry about that, we started, they were going to be a little, they were going to be bad. I should say bad, but not what we usually are accustomed to, which isn't great to begin with. But at the end of the day, yesterday, we had to have them come back out for a third load, which isn't something we normally have to do. Usually we had two grain truck loads of beans, and then we usually got to take down 100 bushel in this because it doesn't fit. Well, we had probably another extra 400 bushel. So I know it doesn't sound like much to some of you guys, but that's pretty good to us. So last weekend it was hot, windy, it's breezy today, it's about 65 out. Last weekend it was pushing 90. We were actually combining this field right here behind us, and we were only combining it to the south because the wind was out of the south, and it was blowing all the dust to the back of the combine. Couldn't see if you turned the other way, and all the dust was blowing in front of you. You couldn't see the head, and it was blowing it all over the engine. Well, we ended up having to put out a couple of fires anyway, just chasing it around with the Ranger and fire extinguisher and some water bottles, jugs, and we'd smell a little something smoldering. You get up on the back of the combine and you douse it out. So we got that done. I guess that was what, Thursday night we finished up on that big ridge there behind those pine trees. And then yesterday they come out and hauled everything away. And I think we're going to be hitting it hard here. So we're just about done with this field now. So, but anyway, combine seems to be working good. You know, we didn't end up replacing that belt on the feeder house. But we tightened it up a little bit. I mean, I was doing almost 3 miles an hour earlier, so that should work out pretty good. So, anyway, we're going to make corn fodder off of this, I think. It's my plan. I was going to do the whole thing, but I can't get down in there. There's water standing in some of those spots there yet. And then there's logs and rocks down there, so at least from about here up on this end, we'll chop this up and bale it for at least what we need. Depending on the weather, we may make more. And we got fields down below here, but that's all had flood go through that too. So who knows what's in those fields also. And there's also flood went through those fields up there behind the machine shed. So there ain't a single field in the bottom that didn't have water go through them at all, except for maybe the very upper one on the up behind the barn, or behind the shed up here. Other than that, they all had water. This one had water, that bean field. The middle one had water in it. The upper bean field had water, run through it a little bit. This one had water. The ones down below definitely had water through them. And then the ones up behind the shed too definitely had water go through them. So, except for maybe the upper one. So we'll see what happens. But so to make a quick video. If you guys like what you see, let me know. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Comment with any questions. Try to help as much as I can. And make sure you share with your friends. And we will talk to you guys later.